need to, or we will fire!
Firing warning.
It started with a single flicker on the FLIR screen. One bright pulse where there should have been nothing but open water. No engines, no lights, no transponder. Just a fast-moving heat signature slicing across the Caribbean Sea. Within seconds, the calm routine aboard the cutter collapsed into controlled urgency. Boots hit metal, radios snapped awake, the air shifted. From the flight deck, the helicopter crew was already strapping in, blades beginning to churn the night into a low vibration. Out on the horizon, the target made its first aggressive turn, the kind smugglers only use when they know someone has found them. The bridge issued warnings in 2 languages. No response. Instead, the vessel accelerated. Then came the moment that changed the tone completely. A burst of white light aimed straight at our sensors, a deliberate attempt to blind the helicopter. That move told everyone on board the same thing. This wasn't going to be a standard chase, and whatever was happening on that unmarked boat, it was worth risking everything to keep hidden. This stretch of water is known among Coast Guard units as a silent highway. Smugglers use it to reach open lanes northward toward the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. The go-fast boat profile is consistent across most interdictions. Lightweight hull, multiple outboard engines, and operators who prefer running dark to beat surveillance. The cutter's surface search radar picked up intermittent returns, clogged by humidity-induced clutter. That left the helicopter and FLAR feed as the primary means of tracking. The command briefing earlier in the evening emphasized that traffickers from this part of the Venezuelan coast rarely surrender. The operation parameters were simple: identify, warn, disable if necessary, and interdict. Every step had to be documented. Every shot had to be justified. Toward the south, clouds gathered and wind direction shifted slightly west. A minor detail, but enough to complicate the intercept geometry. The suspect vessel held course, showing no sign of reducing speed or acknowledging radio calls. The cutter established the northern leg of the intercept, maintaining a steady angle that would eventually close the gap. The helicopter formed the aerial leg, circling wide to box the go-fast boat in. Down on the stern, the small boat team prepared their RHIB for launch. Their job would only begin after the suspect vessel slowed or lost engine power. Coast Guard procedure mandates a graduated response. First verbal warnings in English and Spanish, then visual warnings, searchlights and laser pointers directed into the wake ahead of the vessel. Only after repeated refusal does disabling fire become authorized. The sniper on board the helicopter checked wind direction and rotor downwash, preparing for a clean line of fire strictly aimed at the engines, never at the operators. From my position on the cutter, I could see the chase forming into a textbook, 3-sided containment. But out here, textbook rarely matches reality. The go-fast boat accelerated sharply, throwing a tall spray pattern as it crossed our bowline. Its operators began maneuvering unpredictably, shifting left and right to avoid giving the sniper a steady angle. Over the radio, the helicopter crew confirmed that the suspects were dumping cargo, 3 large containers thrown overboard in quick succession. That alone indicated contraband.
Steady, steady. Send the warning shot now. Firing warning shots now.
for windage. Range is 50 meters. Fire when ready. Keep the burst steady.
The helicopter dropped to a lower altitude, pressing against the upper limit of safe rotor clearance above the waves. The sniper took his first disabling shot, aiming for the starboard engine. The round missed cleanly as the suspects executed a sudden hard turn. From the cutter's deck, I could hear the helo pilot call for altitude correction after a suspected muzzle flash from the go-fast boat. Second shot, partial impact. The engine casing fractured, reducing thrust, but not killing the motor. The boat kept moving, now struggling against its own unstable wake. The cutter's MG team fired controlled splash fire, not to strike the vessel, but to restrict its maneuvering room. On the third attempt, the sniper achieved a full disable. One engine died instantly. The vessel lost balance, yawing left before slowing into a wide, uncontrolled arc. The RHIB launched as soon as the threat level dropped. The boarding team reached the vessel while it was still drifting. One suspect was injured from a fall during the sharp turns and required medical attention. Contraband containers floated nearby, marked with glow sticks. The helicopter maintained overwatch until the scene stabilized. Once the engines were fully disabled, the tension broke. The suspects were secured and transferred to the RHIB. Evidence was recovered and catalogued. The helicopter began its return flight to the cutter, with fuel reserves approaching minimums allowed for nighttime operations. The cutter reduced speed and established a holding pattern as the RHIB came alongside. The injured suspect received immediate first aid. The boarding officer conducted the initial questioning, limited to name, origin, and vessel ownership. The sea, which had been hard and loud only minutes earlier, returned to its usual low rhythm. It is a contrast I have seen many times. The rapid move from chaos to routine professionalism. Back in the operations room, the crew reviewed FLIR footage frame by frame. The light burst used by the smugglers confirmed deliberate interference. Radar logs showed their speed peaking above 40 knots before the first warning attempt. The debris trail matched known cartel packaging methods from the Venezuelan coast. The disabling fire sequence was also reviewed. Every shot from the helicopter was within approved parameters. The loss of engine power forced the vessel to slow naturally, reducing the risk of capsizing when the boarding team approached. The operation followed doctrine closely, though the weather and erratic maneuvering increased risk to the aircrew. Even so, coordination between cutter, helicopter, and RHIB was consistent, disciplined, and effective. By dawn, the evidence was locked away, the suspects handcuffed below deck, and the cutter had resumed its patrol track. Nothing about the night was unusual for this region. Smugglers run often. The Coast Guard responds often. The cycle continues with little recognition beyond the units involved. What I witnessed was not dramatic heroism, just trained professionals working through a dangerous scenario with precision and restraint. The sea was calm again by the time the sun rose. From the deck, there was no sign of the chase that had unfolded only hours earlier. Just open water, a thin horizon line, and a cutter moving on to whatever came next.